Hey beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk about breaking the cycles, freeing yourself from captivity. And that sounds like a really heavy subject, but I just want to really get to just the meat and potatoes of this discussion. You know, when I think about breaking the cycles, it sounds like it's vicious, it sounds redundant, it sounds like a pattern of things that, take place that we have not mastered, that we have no control over, that continues to repeat in our lives. And it's something that we have to take control over. It's something that we have to master. And so it really starts in the mind. It's mind over matter. It's making a decision in your mind that you are no longer going to be a victim to your circumstances and a victim to other people and a victim to the things that has happened in your past or even has happened yesterday. It's really taking back your mind and mastering your mind and managing your emotions and really controlling, and not being controlling that you can control every outcome, but you can control and manage the way that you deal in situations. You can manage and control the way you allow your emotions to go here and there. You can manage and control how you feel about a situation or a circumstance and how you are going to react to it. And so I just want to really talk about breaking the cycles and patterns in our lives that hinder us from becoming who we are created to be, and also from manifesting the things that we desire to manifest in our lives. And sometimes we cannot manifest and we can't create and we cannot become who we desire to be because we have these vicious cycles and behavior patterns in our lives that's hindering us. And sometimes we are entertaining people and things in our lives that are just vicious cycles that need to be broken. I just think about how old wineskins cannot go into new wineskins because it will burst, it would be destroyed, right? It would be damaged. And when you think about the relationships we entertain, and you think about, the friendships that we encounter, we think about all of these things, when we are stepping into the new level of us and we're stepping into new dimensions and new things and new goals and new dreams and new experiences that we want to experience in life, and we're bringing the old baggage from our past, we feel stifled, right? We feel like there's something stale there. There's something that's blocking us from shining, right? How this sun is shining and glistening on my skin, right? It's the same way. It's like your light is being dimmed because you have someone in your circumference, you have someone in your circle, in your inner circle, that you can bring with you as you elevate and want to grow higher in your life. And so we have to break off those vicious cycles and patterns in our lives that hinder us. So I want to read a little bit of my new book, Detox, a 21-day workbook guide to rebuild your temple, mind, body, spirit. And level 1, day 5 is breaking the cycles. And so it's mind over matter. And it says you have to keep telling yourself, mind over matter, mind over matter, mind over matter, because what you think about, you bring about. And the more you think about your past mistakes, past relationships, past hurts, and even past failures, you will not be able to freely move forward in your new normal, right? So you won't be able to move forward and get to the next level of you when you continue to hold and hoard and just allow circumstances and situations and even people to hinder you from your soul growth, hinder you from your highest potential, hinder you from operating your highest good, hinder you from being the next best version of yourself. And so many of us are in captivity and we don't even know it. And that's what I mentioned earlier, that we're freeing ourselves from captivity. And so some of us don't even know we're in captivity. We feel we are free because we can move about and we feel like we're making choices for our lives. But you know, if we're not making choices for the betterment of us, and we continue to repeat these vicious cycles, and we continue to entertain, you know, familiarity, and we open ourselves up for you know, these vicious cycles and patterns of behaviors in our lives, then we are actually holding ourselves captive from being free, from being authentic, from being the best version of ourselves, right? So we are in emotional captivity. Now, physically, yes, we may be able to move about. We may be able to make choices to go and do whichever we please. However, you know, emotionally, we are stuck. Emotionally, we're still dealing with the same people in our lives. And I see it happen so often now to people that I know and people that I may not even know personally, but I know their story. And now that I'm out of these vicious cycles and patterns in my life, I can see how, you know, I was in that place, and I can see how other people are in that place. And one example of being in a vicious cycle, let's say in a relationship, is when you keep telling the same story, that your narrative hasn't changed. It's always oh boy, oh girl. It's always what they did to you. It's always the victim mentality. It's always that person did this to me. This is how they made me feel. It's never taking accountability, and it's never just ridding yourself that toxicity so that you can be the best version of yourself. You continue to entertain and continue to invite people in your life who steal your peace, who steal your joy. Invite people in your life who adds no value, but you make room for them. You make room for them because there's an insecurity in you, there's some lack in you, there's some lack of self-love and self-worth in you to continue to entertain anything or anyone that doesn't add to your highest good. And so I see that often. I can scroll through timelines and I see the same stories, and I see people post the same things, and I even talk to people and I see people talking about the same things, and I had to check myself, okay? I had to tell myself, enough is enough. I'm not going to keep talking about the same story. I'm not going to keep dealing in the same situation. I'm not going to keep repeating myself. I'm not going to be that girl. I'm just not going to be that girl. And I had to make a decision and choice that this was not my outcome, that I was going to change the narrative of my story, no longer being victim, no longer saying, oh, this person did this to me, no longer putting it on someone else, because I have the power to control who and what I allow in my life. And it's all a mindset. It's mind over matter. And so getting back to it, we don't realize that our emotional attachments and connections have been the cause and effect as to why we have not been able to break through to the next level, as what I just said. As a result, we continue spinning on a hamster wheel, replaying scenarios, relationships, bad arguments, the time you didn't receive something from someone, feeling overlooked, feeling undervalued, just not receiving the recognition, not receiving the thank you. We repeat these vicious cycles. But whatever it is that causes the offense, it also causes us to stop growing in every area of our lives. And why I say it stop us from growing in every area of our lives, even if it's in the relationship department. You know why? Because I say 9 times out of 10, when it comes to your relationships, yeah, let's keep it real. We put those relationships sometimes over our goals, or sometimes it sidetrack us from the things that we desire to do. We may set a goal and have a vision for ourselves, but because we are being entertained by oh boy or oh girl, we forget the things that we desire to go after, and sometimes they fall on the back burner, and sometimes our priorities shift, right? And so when we are in these toxic, unhealthy relationships, of course we are not going to do what we are called to do, because now we have negative distraction. We have negative distraction that is blocking us from pursuing the things that we ought to be pursuing. And I can think back on a time when I had my hair salon, and this was just one of many times, might I add. I had my hair salon, and I was really doing what I love to do, which is empowering women from the inside out, just helping enhance a woman's beauty from the inside out. A lot like what I'm doing now with coaching, but you know, with this it was utilizing my hands, and now it's utilizing the power of my voice and the power of my word. And so with that, you know, I was living my best life. I didn't have to answer to a boss. I, you know, had my own salon, paid for my salon with my own money, didn't have any investors or anything like that. I was totally doing me, happy, content, blessed, fruitful, prospering. And then I allowed a distraction to come into my life, and this distraction was not of God, because it took me further from my purpose and further from my assignments and what I knew I was called to do. I was showing up with less passion for my gift. I was leaving work early, and might I add, I owned a salon, but I was like, you know what, if I'm done with my clients, I'm not sticking around. I'm just done. I'm just going home. You know, times I didn't want to open up and come in to work, and eventually that has taken a toll on me, that I closed my salon. I had too much going on, and it wasn't enough positive, and so that is what took me off course. But again, it was a decision that I made. It was a choice that I made, and I had the power to be in control, but I allowed my unhealthy emotions to reign and rule over that situation, and I ended up losing out. So looking back, I see my shortcomings, and so that's why I'm able to really see vicious cycles and patterns in other people, because that was my life and my lifestyle when it came to relationships. So I want us to break up and divorce those vicious cycles in our lives that keeps us in captivity, and it carries around this negative energy where it zaps us from wanting to do and wanting to pursue. It really takes the positive energy from what we're called to do, and it drains us where we don't want to do anything. And so this book, Detox, a 21-day workbook guide, is a must-have. It's an easy read in a sense where it's only 21 days, but when you get to the work, having to identify things in your life, gain clarity about some things in your life, reset and set and order things in your life, being able to restore and rebuild your life, that's when the real work is going to come. So I just hope that this video allows you to have some insight and to really make some decisions about yourself to break the vicious cycles and patterns that you have identified in your life. For more information about coaching, please visit bewellunif@gmail.com. If you would like a copy of Detox the Workbook Guide, here it is here. You can send us PayPal or Cash App, and your book will be mailed to you. You can also purchase a PDF copy where it will be emailed to you same day of payment. And please follow us on YouTube at BeWellTC here, and IG at BeWell University and BeWell Royals. Thank you so much for watching, and you all be well.